you can make a full-time income online selling information products.
And the good news for me is this strategy works even if you're not an expert in the topic. So both of us love tennis. In fact, we've been playing tennis against each other since we were in high school, but we're definitely not experts. We're not tennis pros. And so like many of you guys, if you're starting a YouTube channel, a podcast, or a blog, you like the idea of selling an info product, but you say, but I'm not an expert, I can't do it. Well, there are actually two great approaches to doing this.
The first approach is just take the perspective of a beginner. Teach what you know. While we're not pros, we both know how to play and we know a lot more than somebody who's just getting started. So teach the beginner. Create a beginner course, ebook, whatever it is, but just approach it from the perspective of teaching a beginner.
Yeah, that actually worked really well for me on my improvephotography.com website. Back in 2009, I was not an expert in photography by any means. In fact, I'd only got a camera about 8 months before, but I wrote an ebook about photography. Now, if I would have written expert tips and stuff, yeah, that wouldn't have worked at all. But I'd learned a ton in that 8-month period, and so I just shared what I did know. It was beginner information, but I'd learned a lot in the last 8 months, so I shared what I had learned. And so if we were to make a tennis course, we wouldn't make a course on how to do advanced serve techniques. We don't even know them. But we could do a great course on beginning tennis fundamentals.
But what if you wanted to do a course that was more advanced? How would you approach that if you're not an expert?
I think a great way to do this is to hire somebody who is an expert. I've done this again with Improve Photography, with info products. I'll go to a photographer, a Photoshop expert, or a lighting expert, and I'll say, hey, can I pay you $1,000 and I'm just gonna come to your office for a day and I'm gonna film you teaching me about this topic. And then I'd like to sell it online. And they say, $1,000 and you're just gonna, whatever, sure. You know, if they're not in the internet marketing game, they're like, ah, cool, an extra $1,000. It's not their main business. But for you, that's awesome. You paid $1,000 or whatever your deal was. And now you have an info course that you could sell to thousands of people. So even the advanced courses are not out of your reach, even if you're not to that level yet.
Always offer a flat fee for this type of service. If a lot of people will try to offer like a cut, that's not a good idea. The way that you're making money is through the audience you generate. You're the one that's actually putting in the real legwork here. They're just giving you their expert advice, and paying them a flat fee for that is totally fair.
One of my main concerns when I was starting making info products was just the production value. It seemed pretty intimidating to create a video course because it's competing with, when you're paying for a video, people compare that to what they see on TV. And so that can be pretty intimidating. So you could, of course, hire somebody to do the video for you and outsource that. But there are also much easier ways, I think, to get started in info products without the production requirements of a video course.
Exactly. Income School filmed our first course. We filmed this on an iPhone and a webcam. We never had complaints about production quality. And it was a good course. It was successful. Mm-hmm. And then down the road, once we had proven the concept and we knew we had a good course, we were ready for a 2.0. And at that point, sure, it's worth putting in the effort and the cost.
Yeah, now our YouTube videos, well, even our YouTube videos, but certainly our courses, we have a $15,000 setup to produce, to film, get the audio, and to edit those videos. But we didn't start that way. And, an ebook is something you just fire up Word, open up Word and just start writing. And then you could pay somebody on Upwork $200 and they'll totally format it and make it look awesome. Or you could create an audio course, which I think is a major underserved info product idea.
Yeah, people listen to audio courses when they're doing other stuff. It's like a podcast, and except you get people to buy it from you.
Yeah.
We created a $15 audio course actually about podcasting that has actually done pretty well over time. And it was easy to make.
Right. So if you have a site about tennis and you're nervous about, can I do the production value for a video course? Well, what if you just get a microphone and you record a 3-hour course on double strategy or whatever it is that you've learned? That could be awesome. And then people are kind of browsing through your website and it's like, it's $15. I can listen to this while I'm commuting to work for the next week. that could be a great teaching tool that could really help people, and it's easy to produce.
Another question we get a lot is, when can I start selling an information product? And people want hard numbers, and it's not necessarily cut and dry, but some good numbers that you can go by are 30,000 page views a month on your website. If you're getting that kind of traffic to your website, you probably have an audience that's big enough to sell an information product.
Yeah, and the reason that we say that may seem high if you're just starting your website, may seem unattainable, but that can happen within a year. You could be to 30,000 page views. We've certainly done it before. So it's reachable, but the reason we don't want you to do it at 10,000 or 5,000 page views is, let's say we get 10,000 people to come to our website. And then they read whatever article they liked, and in those articles we link to our sales page for an info product. Let's say we have an ebook. Well, what percentage of the people who read that are actually going to go look at your sales page? Maybe 1 or 2%
Right.
of those people are going to click to even look at the sales page. Then once you're on the sales page, it really depends on your offer here, but it's rare that we're going to eclipse 10%. Just from cold traffic, somebody's just reading a blog post to get them to suddenly bring out a credit card. If you did 10% on that with no warm up, this is totally cold traffic, you have a very high converting sales page. More likely is 1 or 2% again. So we're getting 2% and then 1 or 2% of the 1 or 2%. This is a tiny percentage. So you just need to shoot a lot of volume at this to make it work. But that doesn't mean it's a losing proposition either. When you have a website that has 1 million page views a month, I mean, and you stuff those everywhere, suddenly it adds up to a lot of sales from your website. So it seems really hard, but it can work. You just need volume if you're going that approach.
And something to keep in mind, the traffic on your website doesn't tend to be super engaged traffic for the most part, which is why we also recommend, if you're building a website where you plan to eventually have an information product, that you try to shoot for more engagement. That can mean just the content itself on your website being a little bit more personal and engaging, using more images of yourself, making it real personable, helping people feel at home at that website, and they'll remember it. It also makes sense to have an email list right from the start. If you're ever going to sell an information product, try to engage people that way. Have a really nice follow-up email drip campaign when people sign up. Just keep them engaged. And then the other thing we really like is YouTube. So if you can get some sort of subscriber base, whether it's your email list, YouTube, and you can get at least 5,000 people on that list, you can actually start to make a good full-time income from your information products. Those 5,000 people are way more engaged than the 30,000 who viewed your site.
Yeah, if I had a website about 10 or a YouTube channel with 5,000 subscribers that, like, when I publish a video, within a couple days I'm getting, over 1,000 views. Like, this is a pretty engaged group. I would feel like I could do a launch worth tens of thousands probably.
Absolutely.
We've definitely done that with a small YouTube channel that did over $100,000 on the launch. But if we had just a website with that, I would not feel comfortable doing that. So it's just about how engaged the audience is, and that's why we're a little bit nervous about saying how many you need to make a launch, because it obviously depends on how much they like you, how much they know you, and how much they'll trust you to give them good information.
Absolutely.
Some of the numbers we've talked about could seem intimidating if you're just starting out. If you have a brand new YouTube channel with no subscribers, imagining 5,000 can seem intimidating. But actually, it's pretty attainable, and it doesn't always have to take that long to get there. I would say over the years, I've probably earned 3 times more money, maybe more, from info products than I have from affiliate marketing. We talk about affiliate marketing a lot, and it has been fantastic for us. But I think the reason we don't talk about info products more is because it seems intimidating.
Right.
But really, even with a pretty small subscriber base, which you could build in 6 to 8 months, you can have a successful info product launch.
Absolutely.
So I had an idea. Well, actually, it's my wife's idea. But we always start with a website first, get the traffic from articles, and then we create info products. So have you met Paige, her friend? Anyway, she has a friend, and they like doing makeup and exercise, all that kind of stuff. And so they started a YouTube channel, and they are hilarious together. They feel like they're not doing a good job because it's like it's not very like polished presentation kind of thing, but they're hilarious. Like they're just having a good time together and they're presenting interesting information.
The video.
Yeah, isn't that what we said?
They have to wait 12 weeks to see the second half.
This is part 1 of Flash Boost.
No, you're
So Emily was gonna start a website and I thought, you know, what if you just do this different? What if you go backwards on purpose and just start a YouTube channel right away where you can get followers way faster, obviously, with an info product immediately. So I thought, well, start a YouTube channel, get your audience immediately and immediately start selling. And then the obvious problem with this strategy is you don't own YouTube.
Yeah.
You never know when they're going to just shut you off.
Sure.
Or just stop showing your videos as much, whatever. And so what happens if after you have the audience, then you start working to own it?
Yeah.
You know,
So you work on the website to convert more traffic from your website.
yeah,
Organic.
make
slower
videos
growth.
that push people over to the website for a resource,
That's a
get
cool
their
concept.
email address stuff. I don't know. I've never tried it,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of curious to see how it goes.
I think it could work really well, especially in the short term. You'd speed it up.
Yeah,
Speed
it
up
would
that process
definitely
of
be
selling
faster.
super fast. The question's long term, but I think you could work to convert that audience to more than just YouTube over time. It'd be
Yeah,
a cool idea.
if I were relying on this for like my full-time job, I don't know if I'd want to experiment with this strategy, but it could be kind of cool.
Maybe we should make a tennis course like that.